We had some people asking about this red bus, kind of updates we got, so we'll go over it real quick. I got some projects I'm going to be working on real shortly. First of which is I got the switch here for the clearance lights. But one thing that really irritates me about this bus is you want to sit there and be cool and, you know, be parked and have the key over accessory. No matter if the key is on accessory or off, this thing beeps when the parking lights are on, which I don't like, and I'm not really sure how that's wired. The only way it won't beep is if the engine is running. Doesn't matter if the key's on, just engine's got to be running. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bypass that and put this clearance light switch on. We're going to put all the clearance lights on one switch and move it over to this switch. So whenever the key is on, it'll get power and you can turn it on or off. But if you shut the key off, at least take it off accessory, you won't have any lights come on. You won't have to worry about stuff going dead. And then these are still going to remain the way they are. When you hit parking lights, everything's going to come on, and headlights, and parking lights, and clearance lights will all come on automatically. So the only thing this switch will really do is just turn on the clearance lights when this switch is off. This is the product of when you have a bunch of drunk that get too hot or too cold. They yank down on this hatch and they break this part. So I went shopping at the junkyard. I have a new one of these. This is a little breakdown of what we have here. This is the plunger, there's a spring behind there, and then this is just screwed on. There's a cover over this right now, and this sits just like that. The cover's over it, and you can see there's a screw hole there. You pop this hatch up, and then you can get at that screw from the back, and then this cover right here will come off, and then you can get the rest of the screws out. So that's that project. And then back here, we got a couple bolts that broke off of the seat, so you can wiggle the seat. So, and that's kind of a normal thing up here in the Rust Belt. No other updates for Old Red. I'm Mr. Gray here. Finally got this shifter cover to go on here to cover up where the old air connections were, and the shifter knob there. We've got all these seats put in finally. Still got more work to do here, but what's really interesting about these seats is they are welded together and they are in tracks. I moved some of the tracks. You can see right over here where I removed those tracks that were there, and I moved these back. The idea behind this is this seat is still removable. You just take these nuts off and the seat can come off, and then you can remove those studs out of those tracks and still use the tracks for the wheelchair restraints and still use the wheelchair lift in this bus. I'm going to put another seat just like that right here in front of this wheelchair lift. But I got to put something over this so people don't hit their heads on it when they sit down and sue me. I got some more sideways seats. They're all welded together. This was actually a seat before, and now it's just a divider up here to keep people from running into the wheelchair lift. Same thing with these, is they used to be seats and I cut them down and I cut that bar off that was here and welded a new piece of square tube, which is what these got welded to. Pretty simple. Seems to be holding up. All the carpet is down the sides of the bus now. Even though you don't see most of it, but so there's that. New decals in the back there. I finally got LEDs for the back of this bus. I did some trading on those amber ones I have, and now I have red ones. And of course there's the armor, the other three lights, and the rest of the armor. And I got to do a little exhaust work to this thing. There's a hole, and one of the 4-inch clamps had rusted through, so I'll be working on that. Got some sweet new decals on here. Texas Street Man and I came up with this. He gets more credit than I do, but we both came up with this together. Pretty sweet. Let's go check out the rest of the decals.